Good morning, students. Let's begin today's class by poem 1.4. You can see over here the name of the poem is what? Somebody's Mother. Before starting the poem, children, one important instruction I want to give you is that the previous lesson notes you will get from the website as you have downloaded the PDF for assignment now. In the same way, you have to download the notes and complete your work at the earliest. Okay? Now come to the poem, that is Somebody's Mother. This poem is written by Mary O'Brien. And students, this is very simple and heart-touching poem written by the poet. The whole poem is about a mother in which there is a young boy who helped an old woman to cross the street. He realized that she is somebody's mother. He knows that if his own mother needs help in his absence, somebody will be there to help her. Now, let's know the facts about the poet and the poem. Now, Mary O'Brien was born in 1816 and died in 1913. She wrote many poems and children's books. But she is best known for her poem that we are going to learn is Somebody's Mother. Let's start with the first stanza. This is first stanza. Now students, first I'll read the stanza and then I will explain it. So, the woman was old and ragged and grey and bent with the chill of winter's day. The street was wet with the recent snow and the woman's feet were aged and slow. Here, first I will tell you the meaning of difficult words. In first two lines, that is ragged. Ragged means torn clothes. Here the meaning of grey is aged. Bent, the meaning of bent is sharply curved. Chill means extremely cold. Okay. Now the poem starts with a woman who had worn torn clothes and she was old and aged. You can see over here that she is wearing torn clothes. So, students, it was a winter season and there was extreme cold to bear that for old woman. So she was bent down due to that cold. Now come to last two lines of first stanza. That is, the street was wet with the recent snow and the woman's feet were aged and slow. As it had snowed, the streets had been wet and the old woman was walking slowly because of her old age. Now, come to second stanza. First, I'll read this. She stood at the crossing and waited long, alone, uncared for, amid the throng of human beings who passed her by, nor heeded the glance of her anxious eye. Now, she stood at the crossing and waited long. That is, she was standing alone at the crossing and waiting for someone help. And amid the throng, here amid means middle and throng means crowd. So she was waiting for someone help to come over there and help her. Now So that old woman was waiting there as the crowd was crossing the road. In the next two lines of human beings who passed her by, nor heeded the glance of her anxious eye. That old woman was waiting there as the crowd was crossing the road. The careless people pushed her to one side who was passing by her, nor heeded the glance of her anxious eye. It means no one noticed her worried look about crossing the road. She was standing alone and she was waiting over there that somebody will come there to her and help her. But everybody was passing from there, but nobody was there to take her to cross the road. Students, this shows that today's world is full of selfishness. The people don't care about others. Now come to third stanza. That is, down the street with laughter and shout, glad in the freedom of school let out, come the boys like a flock of sheep, hailing the snow piled white and deep. Here, glad means pleased, that is happy, and flock means flock of sheep is given here, that means in a group. Now, in the first two lines, the poet is expressing the happiness. When the boys are coming out from the school, they were laughing and shouting like you people do. When you come out from the school, the boys were in the same way, they were also enjoying and coming like a flock of sheep. It means that in a group they were coming. Hailing the snow piled white and deep. Here hailing means saying words of welcome. They were welcoming the snow. That boys were welcoming the snow. And the meaning of piled over here is heaped up. So here the boys were enjoying by seeing the heap of snow. As there was snow all over outside children, so they were happy to see that. Now come to fourth stanza. That is, past the woman so old and grey, hastened the children on their way, nor offered a helping hand to her, so meek, so timid, afraid to stir, lest the carriage wheels or the horse's feet should crowd her down in the slippery street. Now here, the boys started to go ahead of that old and aged woman very quickly on their way. Here hasten means hurry. The children was moving in a hurry, nor offered a helping hand to her. Nor offer helping hand to her, so meek, so timid, afraid to stir. From those boys, no one gave her help to cross the road. She was too weak, shy and afraid to walk. Lest means over here, that is lest the carriage wheels or the horse's feet should crowd her down in the slippery street. It means she thought that the carriage wheels or the horse's feet perhaps run over her on that slippery road. Look children, as the boys passed, but no one helped her to cross the road. That old woman, nobody was there for her to cross the road. She was standing alone at the crossing and she was very much scared that perhaps any carriage wheels or the horse's feet run over her and she will fall down in that slippery street. Now students, here come to fifth stanza. At last came one of the merry troop, the gayest lady of all the group. He paused beside her and whispered low, I will help you across if you wish to go. At last the happy group of boys came out from the school. Here the meaning of first line merry troop. Here the meaning of merry troop is what? Happy group. So at last what happened, children? The happy group of boys came out of the school. Now the gayest lady of all the group, the gayest means happiest. He paused beside her and whispered low. Paused means stopped and whispered means here spoke quietly. From that group, the happiest boy stopped beside that old woman and asked quietly her that he would help to cross the road if she wished to go. Now, sixth stanza. Her aged hand on his strong young arm she placed, and so, without hurt or harm, he guided the trembling feet along, proud that his own were firm and strong. Then back again to his friends he went, his young heart happy and well content. Now here first four line. His aged hand on his strong young arm she placed, and so without hurt or harm. Here the meaning of hurt or harm means injuries. He guided the trembling feet along. Trembling here is shivering. Proud that his own were firm and strong. Proud, the meaning of proud over here is feeling proud of oneself, and trembling is shivering. He guided the trembling feet along. Here trembling means shivering. Now his own, proud that his own were firm and strong. His own refers to his own mother. Now in previous stanza what we have learned, that boy spoke very quietly to the old woman and offered help to her. Now in this stanza it has shown that that old woman was ready to take the help of that boy, and what she has done? She placed her aged hands on his strong arm, and he carefully means that boy carefully guided the shivering feet, means the aged woman, without any hurt or harm. He was feeling proud of himself. It means that boy was feeling proud of himself, that he helped that old woman whose mother was young and strong, whose mother was firm and strong. It means she was very strong. Now he was thinking that how proud his mother is going to feel that his son helped an old woman. That boy, he was thinking that after going to home, I am going to tell my mother that I have helped an old woman. He was feeling very proud of it. Now this remaining two lines. Then back again to his friends he went, his young heart happy and well content. Here the meaning of content is satisfied. The boy returned to his friends. Then back again to his friends he went. It means the boy returned to his friends after helping that old woman, and his heart had been filled with happiness and satisfaction. That boy, he was feeling very happy that he helped an old woman. So his heart was filled with happiness and satisfaction, means he was very much happy and satisfied after helping that old woman. This is obvious, children. If we help someone, we feel very happy. Likewise, that boy was also feeling very happy after helping an old woman. Now see seventh stanza. She is somebody's mother, boys, for all she is aged and poor and slow. and I hope some fellow will lend a hand to help my mother, you understand? If ever she is poor and grey, when her own dear boy is away. Now, the boy told his friends that she was the mother of somebody and was very old, poor, and slow. She was looking very helpless. That is, the boy was describing the circumstances and the situation, how she was standing alone at the crossing and looking for somebody's help. He said everything to his friends. Remaining lines, that is, and I hope some fellow will lend a hand. Here, lend a hand means help. He said more that the time would come when his own mother would become old and helpless and he would not be there. You can see here, to help my mother, you understand, if ever she is poor and grey when her own mother, own dear boy is away. So he said more that the time would come when his own mother would become old and she will be helpless, and if he would not be there, somebody will be there to help her, his own mother. But he was sure that someone would definitely be there to help his old mother, like he has done to an old woman. In this stanza, the boy is telling to their friends that today I helped an old woman, and a time will come when my mother, if she need help in the absence of mine, then for sure somebody will be there to help her. Students, this shows that if today you are helping someone, then a time will come when you will need help. Definitely somebody's hands will be there to help you and also to your family members. So, my dear students, every time think of not to hurt anyone of your wrong deeds with your wrong deeds, and strive, that is, try to help everyone around you, those are in need. Now students, come to 8th stanza, that is last stanza of this poem. And somebody's mother bowed low her head in her home that night, and the prayer she said was, God be kind to the noble boy who is somebody's son and pride and joy. Bowed low her head means here sat to pray. Somebody's mother means that old woman went her home and sat to pray that night. Here somebody's mother you can see in the first line, that indicates to an old woman. That is the poem is all about. So the old woman, she went her home, and that night she prayed for the boy who helped her on crossing the road. In her prayer, she asked God, with feeling proud and happy, that he would show the kindness to the helpful boy who was somebody's son. That night she showered very much blessings to the boy who helped her. She asked to God very proudly and happily to show kindness to the boy who helped her. So children, in this last stanza, that old woman, she was praying continuously for that boy who helped her crossing that day. She asked to God that boy is somebody's son and praying to God to be kind to that boy. She was praying to God to be kind to that boy. That old woman prayer in the poem shows that if we are helping anyone in need, then automatically we will get help when we are in need. So children, the message here in this poem and the moral values we are getting through this poem is what? We should help the people near or around us who are in Neat. Thank you, student.